Captain Noah Elias stared at the message on his screen. He read it 3 times to make sure he understood. The orders made no sense. Him, at the Galactic Council. There had to be a mistake. Captain. First Officer Kate Sawyer stood at the door to his quarters. Navigation needs confirmation of our new course. Elias looked up from the glowing screen. The blue light made the small scars on his face stand out more. 50 years of space travel had not been kind to his skin. Tell them we're heading to Station Helios. Top speed. His voice was rough from too many years breathing recycled air. Helios. But sir, we're supposed to patrol the outer systems for another 3 weeks. Plans have changed. I've been called to the council. Kate's eyes widened. In 50 years since first contact, very few humans had seen the inside of Council Station Helios. It was the heart of galactic politics, where over 300 species made decisions that affected billions of worlds. You? No offense, sir, but you're not exactly a diplomat. Elias smiled slightly. That's putting it mildly. He stood and walked to the small window. Stars streaked by as the UES Dauntless moved through space. Elias had been captain of this ship for 15 years. He'd fought pirates, charted new systems, and even survived 2 small wars. But politics? That was not his strength. The message says I need to be there in 3 days. They're voting on something important about Earth. Kate frowned. That doesn't sound good. Last time they voted on human affairs, they restricted our colony rights. Elias nodded. Humanity had learned the hard way that they were late to the Galactic Party. Many older species looked down on humans as primitive newcomers. Earth had fought hard for every small freedom. The ship's comm system beeped. Captain, there's a council transport requesting permission to dock, said the voice of Lieutenant Sam Rivera from the bridge. Already? We're nowhere near council space. They say it's urgent, sir. Elias straightened his uniform. Permission granted. Meet me in docking bay 3. 20 minutes later, Elias watched as the sleek silver council ship attached to his vessel. The airlock hissed open. A tall, thin alien with pale blue skin stepped through. Ambassador Nix of the Tellarite Union was a familiar face, one of the few council members who treated humans with respect. Captain Elias, Nix said with a small bow. I apologize for intercepting your ship. What's this about, Ambassador? Why am I being summoned? Nix looked around the busy docking bay. Perhaps somewhere more private. In Elias's office, the ambassador didn't waste time. They're voting on humanity's fate, Captain. What does that mean exactly? Certain council factions want Earth quarantined. They claim your species is dangerous and unpredictable. Elias felt cold anger building inside him. Quarantined. Like the Viridians. The Viridians were a species trapped in their home system, forbidden from space travel for the last 200 years. Yes, if the vote passes, all human ships would be ordered back to your solar system. No more colonies, no more exploration. That would destroy us. We have 17 colonies now. Millions of people. Nix's 4-fingered hand touched a datapad. This contains everything I know about their plans. You were specifically requested to appear before the council. Why me? We have ambassadors for this. That's what worries me, Nix said quietly. They don't want a diplomat. They want to show the council a human warrior. They're using you to prove their point. Elias took the datapad. When did humanity make such powerful enemies? When you refuse to stay weak and obedient like other new species. Nix moved toward the door. I must return before they notice I'm gone. You have 3 days to prepare. The vote is already decided unless you can change their minds. After Nix left, Elias called his senior officers to the briefing room. As they gathered, he looked at each face. Humans who had given their lives to space. People who deserved better than being locked in their home system. Set course for Station Helios. Maximum speed, he ordered. And get me everything we have on council voting procedures. If they want to see a human warrior, I'll give them something they'll never forget. The UES Dauntless slowed as it approached Station Helios. Through the main viewport, Elias saw a structure that made Earth's largest cities look small. The station was shaped like a giant wheel with spokes running to a central hub. Thousands of lights sparkled across its surface. Ships of all sizes moved around it like bees around a hive. "It's bigger than I imagined," Lieutenant Olivia Reeves said as she stood beside Elias. As tactical officer, she had insisted on joining the small team going to the station. 1 million beings lived there, Elias said, from over 300 species. The comm system crackled. "Human vessel, proceed to docking bay 94. Do not deviate from assigned path." Elias nodded to the pilot. "Take us in slow, no sudden movements." The small shuttle left the Dauntless and moved toward the massive station. Elias studied the other ships. Most were larger and more advanced than anything humans had built. It was a harsh reminder of how new Earth was to space travel. "Sir," Reeves said quietly, "that ship has been following us since we entered this sector." She pointed to a small, dark vessel that stayed just within sensor range. "Good eye, Lieutenant. Keep watching it." The shuttle docked with a gentle bump. Elias, Reeves, and Dr. Alan Morgan, the ship's xenobiologist, stepped into Station Helios. The air smelled strange, a mix of various atmospheres and alien scents. The ceiling soared hundreds of feet above them. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved through the vast space. A tall, insect-like alien approached them. "Captain Elias, follow me." As they walked through crowded corridors, Elias noticed how other beings moved away from them. Some showed clear disgust. Others seemed afraid. "They're acting like we have a disease," Morgan whispered. "To them, maybe we do," Elias replied. "The disease of being unpredictable." Their guide led them to a small room and left without a word. 5 minutes later, the door opened. A human woman entered quickly, checking that no one had followed her. "Ambassador Chen," Elias said with surprise. Susan Chen was humanity's official representative to the council. "Keep your voice down, Captain." Chen looked tired. Her gray-streaked hair was pulled back tightly. "We don't have much time." "What's happening? Why am I here instead of you?" Chen's laugh was bitter. "Because they don't want a real discussion. Bringing you, a military officer, lets them paint humans as aggressive warriors. I've spent 3 years building relationships, and they bypassed me completely." Reeves crossed her arms. "So this whole thing is rigged. The Thelosian Empire and 6 other major powers want humanity contained," Chen explained. "They claim we're advancing too quickly. In 50 years, we've achieved what took other species centuries. And that scares them," Elias said. "Exactly. The vote is tomorrow. They'll present evidence of human violence and unpredictability, then vote to quarantine Earth." Morgan frowned. "Can they do that?" "We have treaties." "Treaties with loopholes," Chen said. "I've tried everything to stop this. My sources say the vote is already decided." Elias paced the small room. "There must be something we can do." "There might be." Chen pulled out a small device. "This contains everything I've gathered on previous quarantine species. There's a pattern here. Every species that develops differently from the council norm gets restricted." Reeves took the device. "We need to find leverage. My aide, William Carter, is searching the ancient council laws for anything we can use," Chen said. "He'll meet you in your quarters." She moved toward the door. "Be careful who you trust. Many eyes are watching you." After Chen left, a different alien guide took them to their assigned rooms. The spaces were clearly designed for non-humans. The beds too large, the chairs the wrong shape. As Elias looked out the window at the endless stream of ships, he felt the weight of his mission. Somewhere in this massive station were answers. He had less than a day to find them. "They think bringing a warrior proves their point about humans," he said to Reeves. Let's show them what a human warrior can really do when protecting his people. Dr. Morgan's fingers moved quickly over the alien device Ambassador Chen had given them. The symbols were strange, but after 3 hours of work, he was starting to understand the patterns. "I think I found something," he said. Elias and Reeves moved closer. They had turned their small living quarters into a makeshift command center. Data pads and food containers covered every surface. "These are records of quarantined species," Morgan explained. 27 civilizations in the last 1,000 years, all locked in their home systems. Reeves leaned over his shoulder. "What happened to them?" "Most died out. Some are still trapped, like the Viridians." Morgan pointed to a chart. "Look at this pattern. Every quarantined species developed technology in a different order than what the Council considers normal." Elias frowned. "What's the normal order?" "According to this, most species develop space travel after they unite their planet under one government. They solve their social problems before reaching for the stars." "But we didn't," Elias said. "Earth still has nations and conflicts, even though we've been in space for over a century." Morgan nodded. "Exactly. The Council believes species that bring their conflicts into space are dangerous." A soft knock interrupted them. Lieutenant Reeves checked the security scanner they had set up, then opened the door. A thin man with round glasses slipped inside. "William Carter," he said in a hushed voice. "Ambassador Chen sent me." Elias assessed the diplomatic aide quickly. Carter looked nervous but determined. "What did you find?" Elias asked. Carter pulled a small crystal from his pocket. "Ancient Council law. I've been studying it for weeks, looking for anything that might help us." He inserted the crystal into a reader. "Most of it is ceremonial nonsense, but this might be useful." The reader displayed text in the common galactic language. Carter pointed to a specific section. "The law of challenge. Any species facing restriction has the right to present a defense in the full council chamber." "Chen said the vote is already decided," Reeves said. "It is, but this law has never been revoked," Carter explained. "It's so old that most council members have forgotten it exists. If we invoke it, they must allow Captain Elias to speak before the vote." Elias smiled for the first time since arriving at the station. "That's our opening." The door chimed again. This time it was Dr. Morgan's assistant, a young woman named Laura Diaz. Her face was flushed with excitement. "Doctor, I found something in the station's public archives." She held up her data pad. "Resource shipments from quarantined worlds to major council worlds." Morgan took the pad. "These can't be legal trades. Quarantined species aren't allowed off-world commerce." Diaz nodded. "Exactly. I cross-referenced the shipments with planetary resources. The Council has been taking valuable materials from these worlds for centuries." "They're not protecting the galaxy from dangerous species," Elias said, his voice hard. "They're eliminating competition and exploiting the planets they quarantine." Reeves studied the data. "This is the leverage we need." Elias stood and faced his small team. "We have less than 12 hours before the council session. Carter, prepare the law of challenge documents. Morgan and Diaz, organize this evidence so it's clear even to non-humans. Reeves, contact the Dauntless. Tell them to move to these coordinates, just outside station sensors." "Planning for trouble, Captain?" Reeves asked. "Always. If the council doesn't like what we have to say, we might need a quick exit." The team worked through the night. As artificial dawn lit the station, Elias reviewed their plan one final time. It was risky, but it was humanity's only chance. "The council expects me to act like a warrior," Elias said as he straightened his uniform. "But they don't understand what that really means. Human warriors don't just fight with weapons. We fight with truth." Carter looked up from his work. "The council session begins in 1 hour, Captain." Elias nodded. "Then it's time. Let's go set the galaxy on fire." The council chamber was bigger than any room Elias had ever seen. The ceiling curved hundreds of feet above them, painted with stars and galaxies. Tiered seats rose in a perfect circle, filled with beings from across the galaxy. Thousands of eyes watched as Elias and his small team approached the central floor. "Stop there, human," a voice boomed. A tall, four-armed security officer blocked their path. His skin was deep red, and his uniform bore the Council's emblem. Only official representatives may enter the inner chamber. Elias stood straight, his face calm. "I am Captain Noah Elias of Earth. I was summoned by the Council to observe from the visitors' gallery," the guard said, pointing to small seats far above the main floor. "The inner chamber is forbidden to your kind." Lieutenant Reeves stood at Elias's shoulder. Dr. Morgan and William Carter waited behind them. They had planned for this moment. "I invoke the law of challenge," Elias said clearly, his voice carrying across the chamber. "By ancient council law, any species facing restriction has the right to present a defense in the full council chamber." The room fell silent. Then whispers spread like ripples in water. Many council members leaned forward in their seats. Others spoke urgently to their aides. The security officer looked confused. He touched his communication device, listening to instructions. A new voice cut through the growing noise. "This is outrageous." All heads turned to a raised platform near the center of the chamber. A tall, elegant alien stood there. His skin shimmered like polished metal, and his eyes were black as space. High Counselor Zexavon of the Thelosian Empire was known throughout the galaxy as one of the most powerful beings alive. "The human invokes laws he does not understand," Zexavon said. "Remove him immediately." More security officers moved toward Elias. But before they reached him, another voice spoke. "The law of challenge is valid." An ancient being rose slowly from a seat near the floor. Elder Mox of the Juriani had been on the council for over 200 years. His voice was soft but carried authority. "I have studied our laws since before most of you were born," Elder Mox continued. "The human speaks correctly. If his species faces restriction, he has the right to be heard." The chamber erupted in argument. Zexavon's voice rose above the others. "This is a trick. The humans found some forgotten text and think to delay our important work." Elias didn't move. He kept his eyes on Elder Mox, ignoring the chaos around him. Finally, a chime sounded, calling for order. The head of chamber, a bird-like being named Sora, spoke. "The law of challenge has been verified. It has not been invoked in 700 years, but it remains valid." Her feathers ruffled with irritation. "Captain Elias may present his case." Security officers reluctantly stepped aside. Elias and his team walked to the center of the chamber, to a platform known as the Circle of Truth. As they stepped onto it, soft blue light surrounded them. "Be warned, human," Sora said. "The circle reveals falsehood. Any lie will be shown to all." Elias nodded. "I come with truth, nothing more." Zexavon sneered. "Let us proceed with this formality. Then we will vote as planned." The chamber quieted as Elias took his position. He could feel the weight of thousands of alien eyes upon him. This was humanity's moment, perhaps their only chance. Sora spoke the formal words. "The Council presents its case against the species known as humans. Evidence will show they are too aggressive, too unpredictable, and advance too quickly for galactic stability. We seek to quarantine them to their home system for the safety of all." Images appeared in the air above the chamber. Earth wars, human conflicts, weapons and battles throughout history. The images were carefully selected to show humanity at its worst. When the presentation ended, Sora turned to Elias. "Captain Noah Elias of Earth, you may now respond. You have one standard time unit." Elias looked around the vast chamber. Then he straightened his shoulders and began to speak. Elias stood in the Circle of Truth. The blue light shimmered around him as thousands of alien eyes watched. The images of human wars still hung in the air like ghosts. "I will not deny what you have shown," Elias began. His voice was steady and clear. "Humans have fought wars. We have hurt each other. Our history has dark chapters. Murmurs spread through the chamber. This was not the defense they expected. But you have shown only part of our story. Elias nodded to Dr. Morgan, who activated a small device. New images appeared beside the councils. Earth's great cities, medical breakthroughs, art and music, children playing, people helping each other after disasters. For every war, we have built peace. For every weapon, we have created tools to heal and grow. This is also humanity. High Counselor Zex Von stood. Pretty pictures change nothing. Your kind develops too quickly. You went from simple flight to star travel in less than 200 years. Such rapid advancement threatens galactic stability. Elias smiled slightly. Is that the real reason for this vote? Or is there something else you fear? He turned to face the entire chamber. The Council claims to protect the galaxy by quarantining dangerous species, but we found something interesting in your own records. Lieutenant Reeves stepped forward with a datapad. More images appeared. Official Council shipping records showing massive resource transfers from quarantined worlds. These are resource shipments from planets under quarantine, Elias said. Valuable materials moving to major Council worlds. Materials these trapped species cannot use to advance themselves. The chamber erupted. Many Council members looked shocked, others angry, some guilty. This is a lie, Zex Von shouted. I stand in the circle of truth, Elias reminded everyone. The blue light remained steady around him. Every word I speak is true. Elder Mox leaned forward. From where did you obtain these records, Captain? From your own public archives. You've hidden these actions in plain sight for centuries, counting on no one connecting the dots. Dr. Morgan projected a new image, a chart showing the development paths of various species. The Council claims species that develop in the wrong order are dangerous, Elias continued. But our research shows something different. The species you quarantine are those who advance quickly enough to become competitors. Elias walked to the edge of the circle, facing Zex Von directly. The Thelosian Empire grew powerful by exploiting these quarantined worlds. You're not protecting the galaxy. You're protecting your profits. Zex Von's face darkened with rage. These accusations are meaningless. The vote will proceed. But it won't be the vote you planned, came a new voice. Ambassador Chen walked into the chamber. She looked calm and determined. I have spoken with 37 Council representatives since Captain Elias arrived, she announced. Many are disturbed by these revelations. They request time to investigate before voting. The head of chamber, Sora, looked troubled. Is this true? She asked the room. Many Council members stood or raised their hands in agreement. Zex Von slammed his fist on his platform. This is a human trick. First, the captain uses an ancient law. Now the ambassador tries to delay. We must vote now. Why the rush, Counselor? Elias asked. If everything you've done is proper, an investigation will prove it. The blue light of the truth circle still glowed steadily around him. Sora conferred with other senior Council members. Finally, she spoke again. The vote will be delayed for 3 standard days while these allegations are examined. This chamber is adjourned. As Council members began to leave, some angry, some deep in discussion, Zex Van approached Elias. You think you've won, human, he said quietly. But you've just made the most powerful enemy in the galaxy. This isn't over. Elias met his gaze without flinching. No, it isn't. In fact, it's just beginning. Back in their quarters, Elias's team didn't celebrate. They knew they had only bought time, not victory. They'll find a way to dismiss the evidence, Reeves said. 3 days won't be enough. Then we need something more, Elias replied. Something they can't ignore or explain away. Carter looked up from his datapad. Captain, someone is trying to access our quarters security system. Elias checked his weapon. It seems Zex Von doesn't want to wait 3 days either. The lights in their quarters flickered and went out. Emergency red lighting came on seconds later. Move, Elias ordered. Reeves, take point. Lieutenant Reeves drew her sidearm, and led the way to the door. They had prepared for this possibility. The team slipped into the hallway and followed a service corridor, avoiding the main paths. Security breach in human quarters. A station announcement echoed. All personnel respond. They're making it look like we're the problem, Morgan whispered. They reached a maintenance shaft and climbed down 3 levels. Ambassador Chen had given them maps of these rarely used areas. At a small junction, they paused to check their position. A soft sound made Reeves spin around, weapon ready. But instead of council security, a small group of aliens waited in the shadows. One stepped forward, a female of the Kren species with purple skin and large eyes. Captain Elias, she said quietly, I am Delegate Vera. We wish to speak with you. Elias studied the group. 5 different species, all from smaller worlds with less power in the council. This isn't a good time, he said. We're being hunted. We know. That's why we arranged the power failure in your quarters. It gave you time to escape. Elias lowered his weapon slightly. You helped us. Why? Because what you said in the chamber was true, another delegate spoke up. Many of us have suspected the resource theft for years, but had no proof. Vera nodded. The older powers have controlled the council for too long. Many younger species want change. They led the humans to a small room filled with communication equipment. It seemed to be a forgotten maintenance area. We can hide you here, Vera said. Zexvan has convinced security that you stole classified information and plan to flee the station. So much for the 3-day investigation, Reeves muttered. Carter was studying a data screen. Captain, look at this. News of what happened in the council is spreading through the station. People are talking about the quarantine system. Elias turned to Vera. How many delegates support us? 28 openly, more privately. But it's not enough to stop the vote. The major powers still control the council. A signal chimed from Morgan's device. He'd been analyzing the data they'd collected about quarantine species. Captain, I found something important, he said. When comparing development patterns of all known species, humans show a unique characteristic. He displayed a chart. All other species follow predictable paths, even if the order varies. But humans adapt faster than any known species. Our rate of change is 5 times the galactic average. Elias looked at the chart. Is that why they really fear us? Not because we're violent, but because we adapt too quickly. I believe so, Morgan said. In 50 years, we've already caught up with technologies that took others centuries to develop. One of the alien delegates, a small reptilian being, spoke up. This matches our observations. When my people met humans 10 years ago, your ships were simple. Now they nearly match our own. Elias thought for a moment. This is our advantage. Not our weapons or technology, but our ability to adapt and change. He turned to Carter. Can you still access the Council's communication system? Yes, from here. What are you planning? I want to send a message to every delegate before the final session. And I need to contact the Dauntless. Reeves looked concerned. Are you calling in the ship? That could start a war. No, Elias smiled. I need them to send something specific. Something that will show the Council exactly what humanity brings to the galaxy. For the next several hours, the human team worked with their new allies. Vera and the other delegates provided access to Council systems. Morgan completed his analysis. Carter prepared the message that would go to every Council member. As artificial dawn approached, Elias received confirmation that the Dauntless had delivered the requested items. Everything was ready for the final confrontation. Zexavan expects us to run or fight, Elias told his team. Instead, we'll walk right back into the council chamber and finish what we started. Vira looked worried. He'll have security waiting. Good, Elias said. I want everyone to see what happens next. The council chamber was packed. Every seat was filled, and the visitor galleries overflowed. News of the human challenge had spread throughout the station. Everyone wanted to see the final outcome. High Counselor Zexavan stood at the center platform, his metallic skin gleaming under the lights. "The fugitive humans have not been found," he announced. "Their absence proves their guilt. We must proceed with the vote immediately." "That won't be necessary," Elias called out. Every head turned as he walked into the chamber, followed by his team. Council security officers moved to block them, weapons ready. But Elias didn't stop. He walked directly toward the Circle of Truth. "The humans are wanted for theft and attempted escape," Zexavan said. "Arrest them." "On what evidence?" Elias asked calmly. He reached the circle and stepped inside. The blue light surrounded him, glowing steady and true. "I stand in the Circle of Truth. I have stolen nothing and attempted no escape." The security officers hesitated. The circle was responding to Elias, showing he spoke truth. Sora, the head of chamber, raised her feathered hand. "Let him speak. The law of challenge is not complete until the final session." Zexavan's face twisted with anger, but he stepped back. The security officers lowered their weapons. "Yesterday I showed you how the Council has exploited quarantine species," Elias said. "Today I want to show you something different. The real reason humanity deserves a place among the stars." He nodded to Dr. Morgan, who placed a small device on the floor. A hologram appeared, a large engineering puzzle known throughout the galaxy as the Calderian Dilemma. For 3,000 years, engineers had tried to solve this theoretical energy distribution problem. No one had succeeded. "This puzzle has defeated the greatest minds in the galaxy," Elias said. "It's considered unsolvable." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Everyone recognized the famous dilemma. "Yesterday, I sent this puzzle to the Dauntless," Elias continued. "Our ship's engineering team had never seen it before. They had less than 1 day to work on it." He activated another part of the hologram. A new design appeared beside the original puzzle. A solution. Clean, elegant, and obviously functional. The chamber fell silent in shock. "Impossible," someone whispered. But the design rotated slowly for all to see, clearly showing how each piece fit together. "This is what humanity brings to the galaxy," Elias said. "Not just weapons or technology, but a different way of thinking. We solve problems differently because our history forced us to adapt constantly." He looked directly at Zexavan. "You fear us because we change quickly. But that change can benefit everyone, not just ourselves." Morgan advanced the hologram again. Now it showed more human achievements, medical treatments, environmental restoration methods, and resource-efficient technologies. "Every species has something unique to offer," Elias said. "The Juriani have unmatched patience. The Tellarates excel at diplomacy. The Kren understand complex systems better than anyone. Humanity adapts and innovates. Together, we all become stronger." Ambassador Chen stepped forward with a datapad. "I have statements from 34 council members supporting a new proposal. Instead of quarantine, we suggest forming a cooperative research alliance, species helping each other advance, with rules to ensure fairness and safety." Shouts and cheers erupted from many delegates. Others looked uncertain. Some seemed angry. Sora called for order. "This is an unexpected development. We must consider this new proposal." "There is nothing to consider," Zexavan shouted. "The original vote must proceed." But the chamber had changed. Many delegates who had been silent now spoke up, supporting Chen's alliance idea. Zexavan saw his control slipping away. His hand moved to his robe, and he pulled out a small device. If reason will not prevail, then more direct methods are needed. With a gesture, doors around the chamber slammed shut. Armed figures emerged from hidden alcoves. Private Felusian security forces. "This council has grown weak," Zexavan declared. "The Felusian Empire will no longer be bound by its decisions. The human problem ends today." He pointed the device at Elias. "Beginning with you, Captain." Carter whispered urgently to Elias. "The Dauntless is detecting weapon systems activating throughout the station. Elias nodded. It seems HFY had a backup plan all along. Chaos erupted in the council chamber. Delegates shouted in fear as HFY's armed forces surrounded them. The Thelosian guards aimed weapons at Elias and his team. "You see," HFY called out. "This is how the Great Council truly functions. Power, not laws, has always ruled the galaxy." Elias remained calm in the circle of truth. The blue light still glowed around him. "Is this your solution, Counselor? Violence when you don't get your way?" "It's the only language some species understand," HFY replied. "Especially humans." Lieutenant Reeves had shifted slightly, positioning herself to protect Dr. Morgan and Carter. Her hand rested near her weapon, but drawing it would start a bloodbath. Elias kept his eyes on HFY. "You're proving my point about humanity, not yours. We're the ones talking. You're the one with weapons." Sora, the head of chamber, stood despite the danger. "This is an outrage, HFY. The Thelosian Empire cannot take control of the Council by force." "We already have," he answered coldly. "Station security has been contained. My ships have moved into position around Helios. This station now belongs to the Thelosian Empire." Elder Mox, the ancient Juriani, spoke from his seat. "You have revealed your true nature today, HFY. A galaxy will not forget. The galaxy will obey," HFY said. He turned back to Elias. "Now, Captain, you will send a message to Earth. Tell them to prepare for quarantine. Any resistance will be met with force." Elias shook his head. "I won't do that." "Then you will die here, along with your team." The armed guards raised their weapons. Delegates cowered in their seats. Some closed their eyes, expecting violence. Instead, a new sound filled the chamber. A low hum that quickly grew louder. The floor trembled slightly. Elias smiled. "There's something you should know about humans, Counselor. We never go into unknown situations without a backup plan." A flash of light filled the chamber. When it faded, 20 human officers in combat gear stood in strategic positions around the room. Each wore the uniform of the UES Dauntless. Their weapons were aimed at HFY's forces. "Impossible," HFY sputtered. "No ship has transport technology that can penetrate the station's shields." "We didn't," Elias said, "until yesterday. Like I said, humans adapt quickly." Carter's datapad beeped. "Captain, the Dauntless reports 3 Thelosian warships have been disabled. Council security is being freed by our second team." HFY looked around wildly as his plan collapsed. "Kill them," he ordered his guards. "Kill them now." But his guards hesitated, seeing they were now outnumbered. Several lowered their weapons. "This doesn't have to end in violence," Elias said, stepping out of the circle of truth. "Surrender, and you will be treated fairly." "Humans talking of fairness," HFY snarled. He raised his personal weapon and aimed at Elias. Lieutenant Reeves moved faster. Her shot hit HFY's arm, making him drop the weapon. 2 human officers quickly secured him. Throughout the chamber, HFY's forces were surrendering. The council delegates watched in shock as the humans efficiently took control of the situation without a single death. As order returned, Elder Mox approached Elias. "You could have killed them all. Why didn't you?" "Because that's not who we want to be," Elias answered. "Humanity has a violent past, but we're trying to build a better future. Today was a step in that direction." 1 year later, Elias stood on the observation deck of the new Confederation headquarters. The station orbited Earth, a symbol of the new alliance that had replaced the old council. After HFY's attempted coup, the truth about the quarantine system had come to light. Dozens of species had been freed from isolation. The Thelosian Empire had lost much of its power as its former allies turned against it. Admiral Elias, Lieutenant Commander Reeves joined him at the window. "The first ships from the Viridian system are arriving." Elias watched as vessels from the formerly quarantined world approached Earth. Behind them came ships from 20 other newly liberated planets. Did you ever think that walking into that chamber would change the galaxy so completely? Reeves asked. Elias shook his head. I just wanted to save Earth. But sometimes a small spark is all you need to start a fire. Below them, the Viridian ships were welcomed by an honor guard of Earth vessels. After 200 years of isolation, they were free at last. Some fires destroy, Elias said quietly, but others bring light to places that have been dark for too long. He turned from the window, ready to greet the newest members of the Confederation. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was helping to guide that change. Not through force, but through the same adaptability and determination that had taken them to the stars in the first place.